The boy's pulse pounded in his ears as he stared at the strange figure. The stranger's eyes flicked to the note, then back to the boy with a quick nod. Good. You have the map. Now we need a way out. Follow me, the stranger whispered urgently, turning on their heel and slipping into a dark alley. The boy hesitated, clutching the key tighter, then hurried after them, heart racing. They darted through the shadows, weaving past alleyways and silent streets, until they reached a quiet back exit of the city. The stranger paused, glancing around, before pulling out a crumpled piece of paper from their pocket. This is where the trail gets tricky, they muttered, unfolding it. It was a rough sketch of the city, with a marked spot near a rundown warehouse, probably their next destination. Before long, they arrived at a rusted gate, half hidden behind overgrown weeds. Without hesitation, the stranger reached into their coat and produced a small device, some sort of remote control. The boy watched in awe as they pressed a button. The gate groaned, slowly sliding open, revealing a dark yard beyond. Inside, the air was thick with anticipation. The stranger looked at the boy. We're close now, but be careful. There are eyes everywhere. Whoever's after that key doesn't play fair. Their voice was steady but tense. We need to move fast and stay hidden. Suddenly, a faint noise echoed from the shadows, something shifting behind the crates. The boy froze, heart pounding harder. The stranger's gaze sharpened. They're here, they whispered. Get ready, whatever happens, trust me. And in that moment, the boy realized he had stepped into a world far darker and more dangerous than he'd ever imagined, where secrets weren't just hidden. They were deadly. They slipped into the darkness, every step bringing them closer to the truth, and closer to the danger that lurked in every shadow waiting to strike. The shadows shifted suddenly, and a low rustling broke the silence. The boy's breath caught as he saw a figure emerge from the darkness, silent, looming, eyes glinting in the dim light. Before he could move, a rough hand grabbed his arm, yanking him back into the shadows. The stranger's voice hissed in his ear, "Stay down. They're here." He barely had time to react before the crates behind him exploded in a shower of wood and dust. Men appeared from every direction, flashlights piercing the darkness, guns raised and ready. The boy's heart pounded so loud he thought it might burst. He looked around desperately, searching for a way out, but the yard was a trap. No cover, only chaos. The stranger pulled him closer, voice sharp and urgent. "Run, now!" They darted between the shadows, dodging the beams. The boy's legs moved instinctively, fueled by adrenaline. Every step was a fight against the fear clawing inside him. They reached the fence, and just as one of the men shouted behind them, the stranger threw himself against a weak spot, tearing through the rusted barrier. The boy hesitated, then scaled the fence, adrenaline numbing the pain from the sharp barbs. On the other side was a dark alley, narrow and winding. They sprinted down it, the sound of footsteps echoing behind. The stranger glanced back, eyes blazing. They're not just after the key, they know what it's worth. We're running out of time. Suddenly, a wire stretched across the alley, unseen in the darkness. The stranger's foot caught and he stumbled, falling hard. The boy skidded to a halt, then heard the crack of a gunshot. His stomach twisted as he saw the stranger clutch his leg, grimacing in pain. Without thinking, he grabbed a nearby pipe and swung wildly, buying them seconds. More footsteps thundered closer, relentless. The boy's mind raced. There was no way out, no rescue coming, only the shadows and the dark. He looked down at the key still clenched in his hand. It shimmered faintly, like it knew something he didn't. Something dangerous. He had to make a choice. Keep running, or turn back, face whatever was waiting, and fight for the truth buried beneath all this chaos. His fingers tightened around the key. "Come on," he whispered to himself. "We're not done yet." In the darkness, the chase continued. Every breath was a gamble, every step a fight for survival. And somewhere deep inside, a voice told him they couldn't hide forever. The truth was coming, and it would change everything. The boy's hand trembled as he clutched the shimmering key, its cold surface burning against his palm. The shadows closed in around him, the faint glow From the distant streetlights casting eerie silhouettes on the cracked pavement, behind him footsteps thundered closer, relentless. He knew he couldn't run forever, not with the enemies closing in, their dark figures emerging from the night like monsters drawn by the promise of the key. Suddenly, a voice cracked through the chaos, sharp, commanding, echoing with authority. "Stop." It was a woman's voice, cold yet familiar. The boy spun around, eyes wide with confusion and hope. Standing amidst the chaos was a figure he hadn't seen before, a woman dressed in a dark coat, her eyes piercing through the gloom. She held out her hand and her voice rang out again. "Give me the key, it's the only way to stop this." He hesitated, heart pounding so fiercely he thought it might burst. The enemies were seconds from surrounding him, their shadows stretching like claws. But something in her voice made him freeze, a strange feeling that she wasn't the enemy, that she knew something he didn't. With trembling fingers, he slowly extended his hand, offering the key. In that instant, everything changed. The woman's face softened and she reached out with surprising gentleness, taking the key from his palm. As she did, a sudden burst of blinding light erupted from the key itself, like a lightning strike, tearing through the darkness. The air crackled with energy, and the ground beneath them trembled violently. The enemies shrieked and stumbled back, blinded by the sudden flash. The woman shouted, "Run!" But before they could move, the ground beneath the entire area split open, with a deafening roar. Cracks spiderwebbed across the pavement, and from the depths a swirling vortex of glowing light emerged, an ancient portal, shimmering with unworldly colors. It was as if the universe itself had opened its mouth, ready to swallow everything. The boy's eyes widened in terror and awe. "What is that?" he gasped. The woman's face was grim but resolute. "The truth," she whispered. "The real reason they've been after this. Something buried in the past. Something powerful, enough to destroy or save us all." She looked at him fiercely. "You have to choose, stay and fight, or step into the unknown. But if you walk through that portal, you may never come back. The world as you know it will change forever." He looked at the key in her hand, then back at the swirling vortex. His mind raced, everything he'd fought for, everything he'd learned, all led to this moment. Was the truth worth risking everything? Was he ready to face what lay beyond? With one last deep breath, he stepped forward. "I want to know," he said, voice steady despite the chaos. "Whatever's on the other side, I'm ready." The woman nodded, her eyes shining with a strange, fierce light. "Then hold on tight," she whispered. "We're about to rewrite history." And in that instant, the boy took a leap into the unknown, the portal swallowing him whole. The last thing he saw was her face, calm, determined, and daring the universe to try and stop what was coming. The world behind him vanished, replaced by a swirling storm of endless possibilities. And, somewhere deep inside, he knew nothing would ever be the same again.